Since we're on the topic of Elder Scrolls 6, what can you tell me about...
Nothing.
Huh? Me? Just hanging around.
I think Todd Howard had a very bad week. For years, Bethesda Game Studios operated as though its biggest franchises belonged almost entirely to Todd. Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Starfield. These were his projects, his timelines, and his decision. Under the previous Xbox leadership, Bethesda was largely treated as untouchable. Asha Sharma does not appear interested in continuing that arrangement. From her perspective, the problem is probably obvious. Fallout is one of the biggest entertainment franchises Microsoft owns, yet a true Fallout 5 could still be many years away. The Elder Scrolls 6 was announced long ago and remains nowhere close to release. Bethesda can point to Fallout 76 updates, mobile games, television adaptations, and crossover events, but those things are not substitutes for major new games. They keep the brand alive, but they do not create the kind of excitement Microsoft needs. A new season for Fallout 76 is not going to convince people to buy an Xbox. A cosmetic update for The Elder Scrolls Online is not going to rebuild Microsoft's gaming platform. Those products may generate steady revenue, but Asha appears to be looking for major releases that can move hardware, attract subscribers, and make Xbox feel culturally relevant again. That is likely why she is taking the keys away from Todd. The issue is not that Bethesda has no valuable intellectual property. The issue is that it takes far too long to use it. Waiting nearly 2 decades between major Fallout releases is not a serious business strategy. Imagine if Activision announced that it would not release another major Call of Duty for 20 years because one creative director wanted to control every game. No executive would accept that. Yet Xbox effectively accepted something similar with Bethesda. Todd Howard moved from being primarily a game director into the role of a broader franchise overseer. He talks about Fallout 76, the television show, mobile games, and the overall health of the brand. That makes sense from an executive perspective, but it does not satisfy players waiting for a new single-player Fallout. The audience does not simply want more Fallout merchandise or another seasonal update. They want another Fallout game. Previous Xbox leadership seemed unwilling to force the issue. Phil Spencer was a fan of Bethesda and appeared to give its leadership considerable freedom. That may have created a comfortable relationship, but it also meant there were few consequences for enormous gaps between releases. Asha is an outsider, and that may be exactly why she is willing to change the arrangement. She does not appear emotionally attached to the idea that only Bethesda Game Studios can make Fallout or The Elder Scrolls. She is probably looking at Microsoft's portfolio as a collection of expensive assets that need to be used more effectively. Why should Fallout sit dormant when Obsidian can make a game? Why should The Elder Scrolls depend entirely on one studio when ZeniMax Online or another team could develop a spin-off? Why should one director control several of Microsoft's most valuable franchises when his studio can only produce one game at a time? From a business perspective, the answer is simple: it should not. The likely strategy is to turn Bethesda's franchises into something closer to Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, though probably without annual releases. Different studios could work on different games, allowing Microsoft to release a new Fallout or Elder Scrolls project every few years instead of once every generation. Obsidian could make one Fallout game, Bethesda could make the next. Another studio could handle a spin-off or experimental project between them. That does create risks. Different teams will have different interpretations of the same franchise. Some players may prefer Obsidian's Fallout to Bethesda's Fallout. Others may dislike a ZeniMax-developed Elder Scrolls game. The quality may become inconsistent, but at least the games would exist. We have become so accustomed to Bethesda taking 15 or 20 years between sequels that it almost feels normal. It is not normal. Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 were separated by 7 years, and even that gap was considered long enough to justify giving Obsidian the opportunity to create Fallout New Vegas. Today, a 7-year wait would feel unbelievably fast. Asha is probably looking at that situation without the nostalgia or loyalty that shaped the previous leadership. She sees franchises with massive audiences, successful television adaptations, and enormous commercial potential being held back by a studio that cannot release games quickly enough. So she is doing what the previous leadership refused to do. She is separating the intellectual property from Todd Howard's personal control. That does not necessarily mean Todd is being removed from Bethesda or pushed out entirely. It means he may no longer have the power to decide that nobody else can make a major Fallout or Elder Scrolls game while his studio works through a decades-long production schedule. Asha appears to be saying that Bethesda can keep making its games, but Microsoft will no longer allow allow its most valuable franchises to remain inactive while everyone waits. Whether she can successfully manage that strategy is another question. Identifying the problem is easy. Building multiple capable teams, maintaining quality, and releasing those games on realistic schedules will be much harder. There is always the danger that Microsoft turns these franchises into empty content machines. But the previous system clearly was not working. Fallout is too valuable to disappear for 20 years. The Elder Scrolls is too important to exist mainly through an aging online game. Microsoft spent billions acquiring these properties, and Asha appears determined to make them produce major releases more consistently. If you enjoyed this video, hey, maybe drop a like. It really helps a lot and tells me you want more. Subscribe for day one gaming leaks and news, and check out these videos you probably missed. Trust me, they're worth it.